Welcome to Strictly Hoops with CJ Miles. Rate and review and subscribe. That's the man right there.
Push
the
every
living
button
legend.
You can push.
Yes.
Living legends is crazy.
I'm going to call you living legend.
Maybe
CJ
locally,
Miles.
maybe in like certain pockets, maybe. Not
You're
like
my living legend. Living legend, CJ Miles.
Man, I appreciate that. That's love.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
We're going to talk about the Lakers and Golden State game. We have to talk about that one. That was ridiculous last night.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know where to start with this. Okay, let's start with the ending. Because let's work our way from the top, and then work our way down for the rest of the game. So towards the end of the game, it looked like the Lakers knew what they wanted to do, and they were able to execute it to some degree. Now, a lot of that credit goes to Lonnie Walker, who we're going to talk about in a second. 15
Shout
points
out,
in the fourth quarter. The Warriors had 17. He had 15. But they knew what they were trying to get at, right? They were trying to get Steph Curry in actions, get him switched on to LeBron James, and they had some success with that, which I don't know why teams always concede the switches. I think it's really strange. But the Warriors on the other side, they stopped going to that pick and roll, getting AD in action with Steph Curry. They weren't using it as much as they probably should have been. It's strange to me.
Yeah.
Why, CJ? Why?
I think it's just one, them not shooting the ball well. So we're putting you in that space and getting to the ball, and the playmaker that's coming out of it making plays, there's nowhere to make plays to because we're not shooting the ball well. So the passes I'm kicking out, not made shots. Now people are helping less, making that guy turn into a scorer, which is not necessarily what he is. Yeah. So first is Gary Payton Jr., right? You see him miss he makes some stuff off passes and cuts. He makes some layups, but like out of that play, he's missing layups, attacking the basket. He's missed there's not threes not being made off the kickouts. Then they make the switch, like we were talking about before we started this, where Wiggins is being guarded by Anthony Davis.
Yeah,
Wiggins isn't the greatest playmaker in that position. So
he had a rough game yesterday.
Exactly. So and on top of, even if he's having a good game, he's not a playmaker. He can score it. He'll make but he's not a guy I want to run plays through to depend on his decision making the whole game.
Yeah.
As far as like getting guys involved, he's got it going scoring wise. We put him in the middle and let him ISO the whole time. That's different. But I think that kind of makes up a difference. And then I think they just try to figure stuff out. Later in the game, stuff's not going their way. I think not shooting the ball well when you're a team that depends on shooting so much, you start overthinking it. Like one thing we also said to each other, they make it kind of hard. It's like, it got to be something else. We got to find something else. And maybe the key would have been just to stick with it and find some open shots still.
Sure. I mean, they closed with Moses Moody instead of Gary Payton Jr. And when we're talking about, I mean, he had some sort of stomach virus. He actually threw up on the court, and it was inside of his mouth in the first quarter, and he just jetted. No one knew. That's where Draymond tossed the ball to the corner because he thought he thought it was going to be there, but he wasn't there. So he was obviously going through something.
Watching the game, I'm watching the play happen. I'm not even mad at Draymond because I'm thinking the same thing watching the game. You see the defense shift everything. Of course, it comes boom, boom. Like, I'm not, especially him. I know he's already just like automatic. Like, he couldn't even fight his reflexes. And then there was nobody there.
But they decided to close with Moses Moody instead of Gary Payton Jr. Now, they were having success using Gary Payton as a screener with AD because they're syncing AD onto Gary Payton, and then they're able to get the switches happening, and things were going pretty well there. They went away from it, and even setting the screens really high at like mid court, they were having success with that, and they just stopped doing it. It's really strange. I don't know quite why they did that, but the story of this game, as LeBron James said, we win this game because of Lonnie Walker. He wasn't just scoring in one way. He was isolating on Steph. He was curling off screens.
The first one he makes in the fourth is he pops off a screen. He sets for LeBron and he's like, like his first one is a three. Like, and it's not an easy shot to make. Footwork's got to be good. Balance has got to be good, especially by a guy that's not known as a shooter. He can make shots, but that's a shooter shot, the shot that he made the first one. You know the story, like having a great year this year, gets hurt, trade happens, falls out of rotation. He's just an example of somebody that's been working. Like, this moment is not luck. It's not, he's prepared for it. It can't happen if he's not prepared. Because if he wasn't, it'd be the other way around. And he wouldn't even be in the game, like in the playoffs, like, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, and it's also him taking advantage of him getting in the blowout game the other day. Because remember, He got in the blowout game and he had some good minutes in that time, and then that's what led to the next game and then to this game. So like, you know, obviously like they got extended minutes in that blowout game. They got like 6 minutes in that game.
Yeah.
And that's the prime example we talk about. You take those minutes seriously, whether you're up or down when you're a young guy or a guy that's out of rotation, because the coaches are watching, especially when you're struggling. And we know we need some extra energy, some extra things. I'm looking at those last 6 minutes to see if there's somebody I can put in early, see if they can give us some energy. And that's what happened. He got put in for just a fresh change and something the other team hadn't seen, and they're just riding it now.
He was fresh. That's a key word. He was fresh. On the other side, Curry and Thompson, they were being run through all kinds of screens throughout that fourth quarter, third quarter, second half. And I think when we mentioned, LeBron being switched on to Curry, I think they were trying to do something similar, put LeBron through screens to get him tired. But LeBron is like an expert at knowing his body and pacing himself. And then all of a sudden, late fourth quarter, I mean, he was back to being the point guard. He was the point guard, and Anthony Davis only shot like 3 times in the second half. It was mainly LeBron orchestrating the offense. And I mean, it worked. They got the win.
He's turned himself into like he's thinking about being the closer instead of carrying the game the whole game. We've seen him his whole career just carry the game, right? You see him by halftime, he's got 28 and 8, and especially in the playoffs through his career. And I think he's picking his spots, allowing guys to get it going, understanding that later in the game, those guys having it going or at least having some confidence and have made shots, it doesn't allow the defense to play him the same.
Yeah.
Like Lonnie Walker's quarter changes the game for him when he goes into the post.
Definitely.
Reeves making shots this game changes the fourth quarter. Anybody, all of them having their own things going, and it changes the way you've been playing it, because now I can't just leave guys that got it going. Yes, I want to make somebody else beat me, but if I know this guy's 5 for 7, he's gonna beat me. I know that already. It's not like he's 1 for 3. He hasn't got any shots all game because Bron's been taking all the shots. That's a different rhythm. And I think that's what LeBron's doing. And then he's in the post. Like, he's in the post. Nobody can guard him down there. Like,
he was offensive rebounding,
Yeah, like he's down there utilizing his size and strength and getting the switches with Steph. I don't know. I like you said, I don't know why they decide they want to switch. Why
did they concede it? Like, there was a possession where I think it was late fourth quarter, and LeBron is around mid-court almost. And the screens come, and you see Austin Reeves coming up with Steph Curry. And I think Andrew Wiggins tried to ensure that the switch didn't happen, but I think Steph Curry already did it. So it was like, you just kind of accept it. But I mean, in that position, like, going into the situation, like, you got to think that someone's saying, let's try to ensure it doesn't happen, especially when you're that far away from the basket. I mean,
from the basket, we're not switching that pick and roll. There's no reason to. Like, even if it wasn't that point in time in the game, there's no reason to do that. We talk about this throughout the regular season, right? Like, unnecessary switches like that, we don't need it. No. So now I'm almost 40 feet from the basket, right? There's so many ways we can get around this switch. And I think the way they're going to have to attack this now, to snip this out, him sniffing Steph out, is obviously the further out we're going under, shooting under. And it's like, I know you don't want to show because LeBron's a great passer. You don't want Steph too far away from his man. Like, that's what happened with the Lonnie Walker the first play. Too far away from Lonnie, he sprints out of it, gets the 3. But when we're that far away from the basket, you can show some, or Steph stays connected to his man and Wiggins goes under Steph and the screener. Just got to beat him to the other side so he doesn't turn the corner. We're that far from the basket. You got an angle. Yes, Bron can create one too, but you got one. And if you know that's what we're doing, get ready to shoot under and get under. Even as the game goes, I think we test his threes off the dribble. I'm not saying he can't make them, but that's the shot. If I had to pick a shot for LeBron to take, it would be off the dribble threes. Like, if I had to pick one, that's the shot I would pick. Off the dribble threes, we're going under everything until he shoots 3 for 4, and then we figure it out. But right now, we're not going to switch 40 feet from the basket, especially, but I don't think I want to switch ever. And he shows for most of the game. Like, Steph, you see him get out, show heads, like the old college style heads, get out, show your numbers, and get back. But like we said, if other guys are making shots, it changes the way you start thinking about things. Because now you don't want to give up threes. So you just switch and hope somebody comes help, and you end up getting them a 3 anyway. So, like,
it's true. That's the thing. Like going into this game, Steph Curry was talking about we need to be more poised, and then the fourth quarter
Mhm,
happens, and they were anything but. And we're talking about that possession where Steph concedes a switch, and then
mhm.
there's the play by Klay Thompson along the wing there, where he shot a kind of an ill-advised three, and then they run the hammer play. And if you look at it closely, LeBron snuffed it out like before it was even happening. He's like, he
Yeah.
told AD to switch to the corner, and then that happens,
Uh-huh.
and Andrew Wiggins didn't realize it was happening. He could have cut towards the basket,
Mhm,
given Draymond Green an outlet. But yeah, it's we're seeing the Warriors, time every once in a while here, like they're lacking that continuity that we're used to them having. And I mean,
mhm.
they're down 3-1 right now, but the series is not over. They're going home now, so things should go.
Yeah.
The Juju's are going to be
And we
better
know
for
how they
them.
are. Yeah, now they're at
Yeah,
home.
definitely,
But
but
even
it's just it's not looking good, especially against a team like LeBron James and the LA Lakers right now. They get better over time. Like they
yeah,
know you better. And so
especially
that's the
Bron,
concerning
because we
part.
know how Bron is with detail, right?
Yeah.
He's a computer when it comes. He's already got everything. First of all, he played against you for the last decade.
Uh-huh.
Like y'all been playing against each other every year
Mm,
in the biggest games, playoffs, finals, all these things. So like obviously things grow and change, but like he knows these guys' tendencies to an
yeah.
extent too. And but the other thing is him just being aware. He's one of those guys, like he's been the greatest that I've seen, obviously in my time. Like just so aware of the moment
Hmm.
of the game and what's happening and the remembering the 4 or 5 plays before, but not letting them weigh on the play he's in right now.
Yeah.
He's the best at that I've seen. Like it's like remember the old clips of him in post game telling you like 7 plays in a row that happened in
Exactly.
a game right after a game. It's like guys remember the game, yeah, but to be able to reel it off like that, like specifically with detail, and it's hard to
Hmm.
do that on the spur of the moment. Like if we sat down and have a conversation, I'd eventually all come back. But he sits down and is like, yeah, uh, drove, missed the layup, da da da, this shot, passed
He
it,
did that
turnover, da da
last
da.
week, by the way.
Yeah, like he and like
Yeah. Yeah.
he's so in the moment. So
Mm,
but the other thing, speaking about the Warriors, before these I
yeah.
lose this, one of the other things they did yesterday, they took so many bad shots off offensive rebounds.
Mm,
Go look through the game and watch the offensive rebounds. They got so many second chances from their long rebounds on threes. Somebody kicked it out and they just shot it again. Like bad shot, somebody contested it or one
yeah.
dribble fadeaway. Klay, Steph both did it. Guys did it instead of finding. Now you got people spraying out in rotation. Make a couple passes to get that open three.
Yeah.
But like, and it comes from not making shots. So like, it's like some of them Steph shot 2 in a row, just trying to get it going. Like I get it, but like we got to understand where we at
Hmm.
on the road, second opportunities. We got to get better shots, and especially when we know we make our good shots.
Yeah.
They
I
took
mean,
so, and I think Steve Kerr talked about it in the timeout. He was like, just fire it away when we get a kick back out. Like there's 11 seconds after the kick out, find something.
trust yourself. Trust your teammates. Yeah.
Get
Yeah.
a drive off the closeouts because everybody's flying around trying to get
Hmm.
back to you. Get an easy shot to get yourself going.
Yeah. One of the talking points in this series has been free throws versus three-point percentage. Yesterday, the LA Lakers shot 20 free throws and they shot 100%. And the Golden State Warriors, they shot 41 threes, made 12, 29%.
29%.
That's a problem. I mean, we're talking about Steph Curry and maybe some of the decisions he made down the stretch of the game, but he also had a
Mhm.
triple double.
He had a
14,
great floor game yesterday.
ridiculous, man,
He was
ridiculous.
great on the
Yeah,
floor, right? Like, which is
yeah.
wild that we're looking at the game. Like, man, he could have did so many things that more, but like
Mm,
he dominated the game in the ways he's been doing. He's been
yeah,
passing the crap out of the ball. Like he's been doing. He just didn't shoot the three well yesterday. If he makes 4 more threes yesterday, we're talking about this being one of his better performances, like in the playoffs
100%.
of
Yeah,
all time. Like, maybe even if he makes 4 more threes, he makes like 10 because that's how he rolls. Like if he makes a couple more of those looks, he's hot now. Like it's
yeah,
different. And the game's different. But yeah, there's a couple of turnovers that you just kind of like see that are just kind of out of character, kind of like splitting a pick and roll to the legs, just kind of like gets it knocked away.
hmm.
But they turn the ball over. We know that about the Warriors.
They do.
That's one
Yes.
thing
Yeah,
everybody
yeah.
knows about them is that the pace and the way they play, they get kind of turnover prone. It's just
Hmm.
they're able to make up for it because then they can have 4 possessions and score 12 points.
Yeah,
So like that's the way the flurries go. So they but they've
yeah.
always been a turnover prone team.
And also Andrew Wiggins. I mean, I think they were banking on him to have a big game yesterday, but he started the game with back-to-back turnovers. And I was saying to someone online that he shot 6 of 14, but I felt like it could have been 14 of 14 with some of the looks he was getting.
He has
they
some
need
good
him to
open
be
looks with threes.
Yeah, and they need him to hit those shots, man. Especially
Michael
when
Green too.
Yeah, he didn't have a great game either.
Threes.
And we're talking about
threes.
Everyone does, right? These guys,
everybody does.
They need to hit their shots for sure on the Warriors now. And going into Game 5, you just hope that they make the shots going into that game.
Somebody call Jordan Poole.
Yeah,
somebody's got to call him. I'm not trying to but that's where we at. Somebody's got to call him. We talking about a person that averaged 20 points a game this year. They had just a goose egg in the playoffs. He had a good game the first game, and then after that, he's had 11 points in 3 games. Now, if this wasn't his role, that's different. Like if he wasn't getting opportunity, they were taking him. But he's not making shots. He's not defending. He's not like even just his energy that he brings to the game. Like even when he's not having his greatest shooting games, like the pressure he just puts on the defense is not really there either. Like he can't really find his rhythm to it. And that's hurting him because we said, he averages 20, Steph averages 20 something, Clay averages 20 something. We're at almost 70 points a game. Now I take 20 out of that.
Yeah.
Going into, I know it's not that simple, but just bear with me. Like 20 points gone in the playoffs. The way you've been playing all year, like the rotation is built around those 70 points. Those other guys don't score the ball that way. They haven't been.
No,
they got to find a way to. So I think, but one thing I will say, I think Moses Moody has the potential to have a game like Lonnie had yesterday. I think that is so. Like maybe we try him in the high. They try him in the high pick and roll, like they had Gary Payton Jr. Somebody that at least is a little bit more aggressive scoring, and the plays become easier because he's aggressive scoring. So people have to come because he can shoot it and do different things. So like I don't have to worry about him making amazing plays. Just shoot it if you're open, pass it to the corner if you're not. Like really choose the decisions you got. Maybe you put him in that position, or maybe you just kind of get some other guys going. But like hopefully Jordan Poole shows up at home, and that changes everything.
This series can end in 5, man. Like these are games that would be too
crazy. That would be crazy though. Like there's no way I thought it was going to end like that.
Okay, CJ, that was fun. We will check in probably later on this week with another playoff recap. Everyone, enjoy yourselves. Subscribe.
Push the buttons, man. Push the buttons.
Indeed.
We put in overtime for y'all. That's some overtime.
Right on.